Welcome to WordPress Basics, Module 1, the dashboard. Alright, welcome back. In the last video, we talked about the differences between WordPress.com and WordPress.org. In this particular lesson, we are going to jump into WordPress, meaning we're going to log in and we're going to jump behind the scenes and take a quick look at the dashboard. As I said in the last video, this is kind of the generic theme that WordPress gives you when you first install WordPress. And notice on the side here, they give you a login link. I usually don't like to have the login link available to the public. You know, that's just my personal preference. If that's something you like to do, I can certainly show you how to do that. But I prefer just to bookmark the URL, or really, if you log into your WordPress site every week, kind of like I do, probably your browser will remember it for you, or you'll just remember it because you're typing it in so much. So we're going to go ahead and click on Login. As you can see, we're here. It is a WordPress site. Just to kind of talk about what we talked about the last time, notice at the top, this is under my personal domain name. It's DIYwithTy.com. And I like to put my WordPress sites in a directory, so I have a little bit of extra here. You may not have all this. You may have just your domain name with the WP-login. Also, you can also have your domain name.com/WP-admin. That works as well. So I'm going to click here, and another generic thing that WordPress does is it always starts you with the username admin. If you are a client of mine, I probably more than likely didn't give you that as a username. I try to choose something more personal. If you just installed or you're installing WordPress, I would try to not use the generic username that everyone uses. Remember, thousands and thousands of people, probably might be millions of people, use WordPress sites. So try to be as unique as possible. Okay, let me type in my password and we're going to log in. All right, now when you get into this area, it could be overwhelming, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to break it down to you bit by bit on the side here, so you'll kind of get a feel for what all of this is. Now, first of all, let me just say, if your screen doesn't look exactly like this, it might have to do with the version of WordPress you're using. Like right now, the latest version is WordPress 3.3.1. I'm not going to update it right now because I want to show you this later in a later module. But one of the things about WordPress is because it's open source, meaning a lot of people can build themes and plugins and all kind of things for this particular software, they constantly upgrade it to make sure it stays secure, that there's no bugs or things that will happen or occur. So this part, usually every once in a while, this yellow bar will pop up on you. And I'll talk to you a little bit later about how you can easily go in. These days, they make it real easy for you to update it these days. Now, and I didn't mention, but when you come here, you are on home. You can tell that by the little house here. This is dashboard. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about these things here. You see a kind of a summary. This is a summary of how many posts and pages or categories you have. If you're a geek like me, that kind of information is nice. You may not really care. Right now, this says you are currently using WordPress 3.2.1. So it'll tell you which version you're using. if you're like on, I don't know, 2.9 or 3.1, you probably definitely want to consider updating because you don't want to be too far behind in your versions. A couple of things here. This is the place you would go right now. There's one comment waiting. If someone leaves or a couple of people leave comments on your blog, this is the area where you'll see it. There's a lot of other things here. WordPress gives you information about their blog, some news. I really don't like all that information when I log into my site, so I'm going to tell you a little tip you might not even be aware of. Up here in the right-hand corner, see where it says Screen Options? I'm going to click my mouse, and it drops down, just so you can see it again. Screen Options, click your mouse. Notice up top that all of these are checked. I don't really want to see WordPress blog. I love WordPress blog, but I don't really want to see their posts, so I'm going to click check. I don't really want to see their news, so I'm going to click check. And I'm going to scroll down. Notice that those went away. Plugins. I kind of know the plugins I like, so I'm going to click that off. Notice that it went away. Some people like Quick Press. I kind of just like to jump into the posts or pages, so I'm going to take that off. Incoming links, you can keep that. I'm not really a fan of that. I really like my dashboard to be really simple. So notice I only have the right now, recent comments, and recent drafts. That's all I want to see. Sometimes it's good to see the comments first, so you can actually move these around. I don't know if you use My Yahoo or iGoogle, but they give you the opportunity to kind of drag and drop. You can do that here. Notice my cursor over here, the arrow. If I touch this particular bar, I am going to be able to move these around. So I say I want my recent comments above the draft. So I'm going to make sure I have that little cross arrows. I'm going to hold down my mouse and drop it in. So when I log in, I will actually see all the comments as they go down this way instead of having to go over here on this side. If you prefer to see your recent drafts, you can just kind of move them around just like that. So I like the simplicity of my dashboard when I log in. Now you may have noticed from this video, I have a kind of wide monitor. So I actually can get away with, if I don't want two columns, let's see how one column looks. Nah, two columns, I can actually go to 3 columns. And I actually, for a lot of my WordPress, I do use the 3 columns because of the wideness of my monitor. So you can, really, see when you go to 4, it kind of looks a little funny, but you can really modify this dashboard to be, the way you want to see. You don't have to have all these extras if you don't really want them there. So that's just a little tip I wanted to say. It kind of makes you really take ownership over your WordPress site. So I'm going to close this. Okay. And let's see, we're going to move down to the next part. And if you notice, I'm just going to kind of click down. As you click on each of these links, they kind of open up to their options. So that's really helpful. Back in the day, they used to have these open up in all kind of weird ways where it'll be open all the way down here and you have to scroll. So I kind of like the way they have the menu now these days. I clicked back on the dashboard because I wanted to show you the updates part. And remember, I'm just kind of doing an introduction. I'm going to talk a little bit more about how you do updates and kind of keep up with that in a later module. But just so you can see, it'll let you know when you need the latest version of WordPress. And also another area you want to really keep up with are your plugins. We'll talk about that a bit later. Anytime a plugin needs to be updated, you probably want to make sure that you update that as well. Okay? We're going to move on to the post part. I get a swig of water there. So we're on post, and this is the part where if you want to have a blog, which I do highly recommend If that's something you want to add as kind of a platform alongside your website, this is the area where you would have the blog located. You'll be able to add categories and tags, and I'll talk a little bit about how you really want to use categories and tags. I have seen where some people kind of use them and not really think about it. It's really important for the search engine optimization of your website that you do give some thought to your categories and tags. So that's something we'll talk about later. Media. The really cool thing I really love about WordPress is in this particular area, we don't have anything right now, but as we go along, we will. Any graphics that you have, such as a JPEG, a GIF, a PNG file, you can upload those graphics to this area. You can also upload video, you can upload audio, and you can upload documents like a Word document or a PDF document. You can keep all of that media in this particular section. And that's really great when you're working with a website, because if you're building a page and you want a particular picture for that page, and you know you have it in your media library, you don't have to go searching on your computer hard drive for it or in your email for it. You can just pull it from your media library and pull it back into the page. You know, say you had it in the page a long time ago, but you want to find it again. This is a really valuable section that you'll want to keep your files in. Okay, links. Now, everyone has their favorite links. They call them a blog roll on blogs, where you list like your favorite blogs or your favorite sites that you want to recommend to other people. WordPress loves to fill in for you. So if you notice, they give you a list of links to kind of start you off. This is a really valuable area because sometimes links go away. People move their websites. So say for some reason or another, WordPress blog it just didn't work anymore. You clicked on it and it stopped working. Well, it's as easy as clicking the delete button. It says you are about to delete this link. And yes, I do. I'm gonna click OK. And boom, it's gone from your database. So I'll show you how you can really put in links, categorize them, and put different links in different areas of your website to really make it nice. Okay, pages. I think for this particular section, I'm going to click up here. I'm going to open this link in a new tab because I want to kind of go back and forth and show you something on the actual website. But this is where you build your actual pages for your website. Such as if you want an About Us, a bio page, a Contact Us page, a calendar of events page, a books page, a products page, services pages. This is the area where you will make those pages. For example, right here is a kind of a page that WordPress gives you called sample page. Now I'm going to click over to the generic website, and notice at the top there's a home and there's that sample page. I'm going to click on the sample page, and there's some generic text in there. And just for the purposes of seeing, I'm going to click on, in the dashboard area, sample page. Say you want to edit that page. It says this is an example page. Say I wanted to take that out. I'm just going to click delete. I'm going to hit update. And over here on the actual site, it used to say this is an example page. Well, I already deleted it. So I'm going to hit refresh in my browser so that you can see how easy that is? Oh my gosh. So this is how easy it is to edit your site. And this is one of the pages that you would have in your navigation. Okay? We're going to get more into pages later, but I just kind of wanted to jump in and show you how that works and where that goes. Comments. If you have a blog, you're going to want people to come and comment on your blog posts. Well, this is the area where, and if you remember, I'm going to just kind of jump back. There's two different places. You could see that. You can take care of that. You can approve it as soon as you log in if you want to. If you decide to go someplace else, and you were like, oh, wait a minute, I still got this one comment here to approve. I like how it gives you numbers kind of to notify you that you have some comments to approve. All you have to do is read it, if it works for you. Sometimes you can get some spam in here. I'll talk a little bit later about how you can put in spam plugins. But if you like what this person is saying, approve it, boom, it'll show up on your blog post. As a matter of fact, I'm going to jump there so you can kind of see it. For this particular website, the blog post is the home page. And if you notice right here, it says one reply. That's actually that comment that we just approved. So it's real easy once you get all these comments. If you have a list of comments, you approve them, and they'll all show on your blog automatically. Okay, let's see. Next up is appearance. This is exactly what it says. This is the heart and soul of how your blog looks to the world. And there are thousands and thousands of themes out there. But like I said, WordPress gives you this generic theme. It's called 2011. They used to have one called 2010 that's still available. And some of the options that you have here are some of the same options that you have over here. I'm not going to go through the options for this theme. I mainly want to concentrate on widgets, which you can see is over here. Widgets are those things that make up the sidebar. Going back out here, I'm going to go back to home for a second. This particular area where it says archives and it says site admin logout, this part where we logged in, this is kind of your sidebar. These are widgets. This is a widget and this is a widget. And so you can put things like your Twitter icons, your Facebook icons, your newsletters for people to log in. Those are good to have on the side. You may want a listing of your blog posts on the side. There's lots of things you may want to offer. Your book, your latest book, your latest product. Those are the kind of things that you would put on the side, and you would need a widget to do that. Okay? Next up is plugins. As you can see, there's a lot to WordPress. There is a lot to it. Plugins. Plugins are those kind of what I call little software, pieces of software that really make your WordPress work underneath. And as I said earlier, a lot of times these need to be updated. They have different versions, and like I think this one is installed is 2.5.3. The latest version is 2.5.5. Sometimes you can get away with, not updating them right away, but definitely when you have a new WordPress coming out, a new version, you probably want to get all of these updated and then do your update for WordPress. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. But in this particular area, this is the area where if you need a calendar, if you need a contact form, any social media gadgets, just pretty much anything you want to make your website more dynamic or more interactive, this is where the plugins come in. And I don't know if I said anything about that number 2, but that number 2 is, as you can see, these 2 yellow bars, there's 2 plugins that need to be updated. So that's what that 2 is for. Users. Right now, I have 1 user in there. That's me. You can add other users. Tools. The 2 most important tools in here right now are import. Say you have a blog on blogger.com or wordpress.com. If you want to move those posts over, this is the area where you would move or import your post from that particular blog into your WordPress blog. Export. If you're moving to a new web host, sometimes it's not as simple as you think. So you actually have to export your posts and pages when you move over. Say, I don't know, if you're going to a GoDaddy to a HostGator or a DreamHost. This is the section you would go into actually make sure you bring over all of your posts and pages. All right. Last thing on this menu here is settings. And I can't go into detail about the settings right now. That'll be in a later module, but there are lots of settings. And these settings really kind of help, just make your blog, or rather your WordPress website, work all the more better. Like right now, because this is kind of a private demo site, I'm blocking the search engines. But if you really want to be found, you would actually select, I would like my site visible to everyone. So it has little details in that particular section that really help with Google finding your website. And so we'll talk about that. I don't know if I'll talk about some of this in the basics course, but I'll at least try to cover it later on so you have an understanding of it. All right, back to the home of the dashboard. That was a lot. And guess what? Over the next few weeks, we're going to go into more details about each of these sections because I want you to come away feeling pretty comfortable with WordPress and what it can do for you. So in the next video, I am going to talk about posts versus pages. And you might be thinking, well, you kind of said something about it, but believe it or not, I've been working with clients for a while, and I notice there are certain things that's kind of a pattern. When you really should be selecting a page, I see people selecting a post. Or if you're supposed to be selecting a post, I've seen things under pages. So, to be honest, I think I came across something that will help you distinguish between which is which. So we'll talk about that in the next video. So stay tuned.